In the past week alone, the fifth largest economy in the world made a Bitcoin pivot. The UAE made another Bitcoin move, and another US pension fund has joined with the Wisconsin pension fund in adopting Bitcoin. Is this the beginning of the next leg up in the Bitcoin's bull market? Let's break all this down with my boy from down under, Luke. Luke, initial thoughts, man. This week has been absolutely bonkers. What are your
Yeah,
initial thoughts and reactions right away?
I think it's the most bullish week that we've seen in a while. In the 30 seconds that you gave us in that intro, we didn't even mention the fact that the multi-$100 million company Semler Scientific is also buying Bitcoin, and Metaplanet continues to buy more Bitcoin. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in today's rip. Let's start out by talking about the fifth largest economy in the world, because I think it's an interesting one.
Oh, it's a huge one. It's the city of Santa Monica is now launching the first official Bitcoin office program. And you might be asking yourself, where the hell is Santa Monica if you don't know, if you're not an American? Well, that's sitting pretty in California. California has been very, very anti Bitcoin, but you can see California, if it was just itself, not a part of the United States, it'd be the fifth largest economy in the entire world. So I think it's absolutely massive that the city of Santa Monica is launching this program. And I think a huge thing about this, it is unanimously voted in 7-1. That's absolutely insane. You really don't see anything like that anymore. And the great thing about this program, it costs no cost to the city. It's using the Proof of Workforce Foundation. I don't know if you caught that, Luke. A nice little play on the proof of work, a nonprofit endeavor. And it's going to be ranging from everything from education and wide range of applications. So California has been a leader since Silicon Valley days of tech and initiatives and everything like that in the growing age. And now it's finally embracing Bitcoin. So I think this is absolutely massive. And this is going to continue to help it rip and roll here in the next coming weeks. So Luke, what do you think about this? The state of California flipping on its head, man, doing the backflip. After we got the Olympics, we got now California doing flips for Bitcoin here.
Yeah, I think California is making the triple backflip by the looks of it. Because, like you say, they really were the leaders in the internet revolution. They obviously have Silicon Valley, that was, the hub of innovation in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. And then more recently, in the 2010s, and in particular, the early 2020s, California made their first pivot, their first backflip. And they started actually shunning innovation and technology and capitalism and economic rationality, and they started embracing things that just don't make economic sense. Okay, again, we're going to be very careful with what we say in this live stream today over here on YouTube, but most people would know that California is pushing some pretty interesting laws. This is not debatable that California has some of the highest taxes around the world. Criminals also have the most amount of fun in California because the rules are a little bit looser than other states in America, allowing them to steal lots of different things and not actually face the same sort of charges that they might face in other states. So that was kind of the second bad pivot that California is making. And this is driving people out of the state. Every single year for the past 6 years, on average, 250,000 people are leaving California. But now, maybe, just maybe, this recognition of Bitcoin in Santa Monica could maybe be the first step in some people in power in California saying, hang on a minute, we need to, go back to our roots that we, and embrace innovation like we were 20 to 30 years ago. What do you think, Brandon?
I think you're absolutely correct on that. And hey, we even got Johnny's brother who's still living out there, man. So I think that there's a lot of people that love California. I went out there last year to LA, and the only thing I could think of when I was out there was, oh my God, the scenery out here is absolutely gorgeous. We've got a lot of celebrities that live out there. We've got a lot of great people that still live out in the state of California that absolutely love California. So I think, they need to make some more initiatives. And I think the writing's on the wall here. I think people are starting to vote with their feet and really starting to move out of California, like Luke highlighted there earlier. And I think it's just a matter of time. I think they're realizing, hey, we really messed up this opportunity. We had a lot of great things going on here in the state of California. And then we need to make it more desirable for people to move here. And so not only that, we're seeing places all around the globe try to make everything more desirable to move there. And one of those places, Luke, is Dubai. Dubai is having another country or another company now allowing its company to pay itself or pay its employees in Bitcoin. So, it's not necessary where they're not forcing them to pay in Bitcoin, but they're allowing the company to do that. So I think that is absolutely huge and massive and makes Dubai not only a place that's been desirable to live, but maybe even more desirable to live and work now with more options to get paid in Bitcoin. So, Luke, do you think that this is going to be a growing trend, not only in Dubai, but around the globe once companies start to see how desirable this is and how companies or how employees start saying, what Russell Okung and some of these other greats have been saying previously, pay me in Bitcoin.
Yeah, so this is just one small little stepping stone in the right direction that Dubai has been taking for a little while now. There was a politician from the UAE photographed with Mr. Bailey from Bitcoin Magazine himself earlier in the year, and that is because they're creating what's going to be one of the biggest Bitcoin conferences in the MENA region. So this is like North Africa and the Middle East. So that's one of the big things going down. This most recent news of Dubai allowing its citizens to actually get paid in Bitcoin/crypto is just another one of these dominoes that has been falling. And the UAE has actually been, they've actually been mining Bitcoin and investing in Bitcoin mining for a long time. So I thought this was an interesting move because everybody right now is really distracted with what's going on in America. Everybody's talking about Orange Man or Kamala, and everyone's distracted about who's going to make a Bitcoin strategic reserve in America. And I think it's always good to pay close attention to what some of the more powerful countries, around the world, like the UAE, are doing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, yeah, you're right. People are just focusing on America right now. They're looking at price. They're saying, hey, like as we're recording this, we're crashing down back to that 58K gang and everything like that. So I think people are kind of like, maybe neglecting on what else is going on around the world. But Luke, I mean, you mentioned that everybody pays attention to America. Well, I mean, you set me right up to bring something else up about America, man. Like the Jersey pension fund is now joining the Wisconsin pension fund and putting more money into the Bitcoin ETFs. So I think, they're joining Wisconsin here and doing this. And I think that this is going to be a growing trend. So not only are companies now paying people in Bitcoin, pension funds in the US are now allocating more to Bitcoin. I know we've had some firemen pension funds across the country as well. And so, now the First City pension fund is getting in on it. So, or Second City, excuse me, behind the Wisconsin pension fund. So I think more and more adoption is coming, and we got caught up in the price, see it crashing down a little bit, but there's a lot of positives and adoption coming to lead up to that next bull run, Luke. So I mean, I was seeing all this, man. How can you not be bullish?
Yeah, so I mean, I think a lot of people get distracted by short-term price action. Like, I mean, if you zoom out just a little bit, like you should with any asset, in particular, a new form of money that we should be thinking of as money, you don't really look at the value of your savings account on a day-to-day basis or think, oh, Bitcoin's dipped below $60,000. I don't think that's the correct way we should be thinking about Bitcoin. I think we should be zooming out and analyzing our savings on a multi-year time frame. And it doesn't matter what time frame you look at Bitcoin over, it's the best performing asset in the world. Since 2020, since the money printers got turned on, Bitcoin's up by more than 13x. Let's say, okay, Luke, let's ignore that 4-year cherry-picked time frame. Let's look at the past 2 years. Well, Bitcoin's the best performing asset of 2023, the best performing asset of 2024. It performed like a rocket ship in 2023 when the interest rates were being risen. Most people were saying Bitcoin's just a speculative risk asset. There's no way it'll survive high interest rates. Bitcoin's going to zero. Bitcoin is the best performing asset in 2023. So I think, Brandon, you've got an amazing chart up right now. Year to date,
Yeah,
Bitcoin's up 40%.
I mean, how could you not look at this thing? I mean, year to date, 40%. Okay, look, 6 months minus 3%. 1 month, it's been a bad month. Let's be honest here. But I mean, 1 year, we've got over almost 130%. We've got 40.4% on year to date. And with all this being said too, Luke, I know some people like to focus a little bit on the negatives, but I mean, look at this. We've got major banks now buying the Bitcoin ETFs. So not only are we seeing adoption from pension funds, from cities, from companies now wanting to pay in Bitcoin. We've got the big players who came in here at January 11th with the ETFs. Now we got big banks coming in and buying Bitcoin more and more. So I think that this is just going to continue. We're seeing all the big players getting into it. We're the Bitcoiners here, the plebs that were able to beat the biggest money managers in the world and some of the biggest governments in the world to the best performing asset of all time since its creation. And we're just continuing to see it rip, man. We're just continuing to see it rip. And so I think, with all that too, we keep seeing the ETFs, they keep flowing in. We saw the recent dip here, which may have been the reason why we see a dip in the short term. But I still think, I'm extremely bullish on everything going forward. And how can you not be with all this going on, Luke? So, I mean, everybody's buying it up. They're seeing the dips. They're buying the dips. So more and more to come.
Yeah, so I love this chart on screen right now because you can kind of see over the past 2 months, price in the white has been trending down. Meanwhile, the blue line continues to trend up and hit new all-time highs. The blue line is measuring how much Bitcoin is in the ETFs. So again, it's to answer a comment in the live comments. It's been my opinion for a long time. Again, this is my opinion, not Brandon's or Green Candle's, but I believe that the price has been manipulated over the past 4 years and suppressed lower, okay? There's been so many events like Elon Musk coming out in 2021 when Bitcoin was going parabolic and saying, yeah, you know what? I own $1.5 billion of Bitcoin, but I'm going to stop accepting it for payment because of ESG concerns. And nearly in the same month, China banned Bitcoin mining. Larry Fink waged a war against Bitcoin with this ESG propaganda. The World Economic Forum was helping BlackRock and Larry Fink spread this ESG propaganda that was negative Bitcoin. All of these events happened in 2021 and 2022. And it's been my opinion for a long time that all of these events were used to suppress the Bitcoin price to allow these mega trillion Wall Street banks an opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin at suppressed prices. Even think about FTX blowing up. That's obviously a more I don't have to defend that position. There's some people who even say that things like Luna were attacked for certain reasons. We'd have to really strap on the tinfoil hat if we want to dive down that rabbit hole. But I think price right now is a lagging indicator, and you've got to look at it on a 6 to 12 month basis at the very shortest. You've really got to zoom out if you're going to analyze your savings account.
100%. And I agree with you 110%. I mean, you kind of nailed it there with the FTX, but I also think, part of that is not only FTX, but Celsius and some of these other crypto casinos that fell down. What were they selling? What were you buying on those things? You were buying paper Bitcoin. So I think even with these ETFs, they're a little bit more regulated. I'd be very cautious buying those ETF products to see if potentially you're getting sold paper Bitcoin. But I think that this cycle around, there's going to be less and less paper Bitcoin that's getting circulated. And, at a moment's time, we're going to be blasting off on that rocket ship here, Luke. And I think that this the ETF inflows and this little white dip that we're seeing here, I don't think we're going to see too many of those going forward. So I'm extremely bullish going forward. And I think that that's going to continue to rip and roll here. And yeah, man, smash that like button. We're coming here bringing you some bullish content and, trying to make it fun and entertaining for you guys here at the Green Candle Show. So, Luke, what you got for us, man?
I would encourage people to, again, zoom out when they're analyzing a Bitcoin investment. Bitcoin is savings, the best performing asset of all time, best performing asset since 2020, best performing asset of 2024, best performing asset since 2023. Again, if you're buying a lot of Bitcoin, maybe if you don't quite understand the asset, maybe you'd be concerned with short-term price movements. But again, I would zoom out. I would smash the like button. I've been told that helps the Bitcoin content on the YouTube algorithm. So again, the buttons are down there somewhere. Check them out. And I mean, I think stay focused to what the smart money is doing. Yes, price has been moving sideways for 6 months, but like we've highlighted in today's stream, and like we always talk about here on the channel, zoom out and look at the fundamentals. Hash rate continues increasing, mega banks continue accumulating Bitcoin. This is an amazing opportunity to buy Bitcoin. So what do you think, Brandon?
100%. There's no better opportunity to buy Bitcoin than today. So go ahead and do that and zoom out, like Luke said. I mean, he said how many years in that rant there that it's the best performing asset. I mean, it's the best performing asset since its creation in 2008, 9, whatever time you want to start it there, and it's going to continue to be the best performing asset. At least that's what we believe, or I believe here as well. So I mean, I think we're all extremely bullish, and I think it's just a matter of time. And I think, like you've nailed it on the head. I think there was some price suppression going on. Maybe you could think that there's some price manipulation going on in the short term. But hey, I mean, if there's some murky times underneath here, and if anything, if it worries you, where else are you gonna park your money? I mean, I think it's a matter of time before the Fed lowers those interest rates, maybe busts out the money printer, and everything's kind of connected to the Fed's liquidity. And I think with all that being said, the money printer is just going to flow right into Bitcoin. So I'm extremely bullish going forward.
Me too, dude. I think the money printer is coming. And I think those who understand Bitcoin and what they own, when the price is going sideways and when there's no retail frenzy and it's a little bit boring on Twitter, what the true Bitcoin OGs do is they back up their Bitcoin security. I think like now is a great time. There's not a lot of Bitcoin press going on. You're not getting the phone calls from your Uncle Liz and your Uncle Bob about Bitcoin. You don't have to answer all those phone calls. Go and, actually back up your Bitcoin. Go and make sure you have a safe backup of Bitcoin. If you got Bitcoin on exchange, go get it off the exchange. We talk about this all the time here on the channel, Brandon, and I think now's a great time to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, we've got some great ways that you can pull your Bitcoin off of an exchange and get it into cold storage. Our favorite here at Green Candle is the Foundation Passport. You can use promo code Green Candle and get $10 off. And then you can also stamp your seed phrase in something safer than paper, right? I mean, it's been raining, it's been pouring here in Florida. If I've by chance had a little flood in here, my seed phrase would have been ruined. Except I've got it on a titanium punch plate powered by Stamp Seeds. So go get your Bitcoin off an exchange. Utilize a passport to do that. Use promo code Green Candle and you'll get $10 off. And then you could do the same. Stamp your seed using Stamp Seeds, titanium punch plate, and promo code Green Candle to get 15% off. So I'll save you some sats so you can protect your sats, all that, and use Bitcoin truly what it's used for. And that's for self-sovereignty and to protect your wealth. So do all that. And yeah, that's all I got from me. So Luke, any closing words?
Yeah, my closing words is prepare for the future. And I think nobody knows what's going to happen. I think it's good to be prepared for all sorts of situations in the future. And I think you should listen to people with all sorts of different opinions. And I think there's one man who has some of the most interesting opinions in the Bitcoin and the macro space. And that man is Tom Luongo. And I recently caught your interview with Tom that we released earlier this week, Brandon. And again, if the people haven't seen that, they should definitely check that puppy out because, as you say, Tom is a wild one, and he didn't hold back for this one either. So again, we're living in wild times. Maybe it's time you need to listen to some wildly entertaining theories about Bitcoin and macro and, the whole geopolitical chessboard that we're dealt with today.
100%. And yep, you could find that on the Green Candle channel, as Luke mentioned here. And then it's under the videos right here with Tom Luongo, The Secrets Exposed. So he's absolutely great, an absolute firecracker. There's the link there in the comments as well. So, and that's it for me and Luke. So catch you guys all at the next one. And thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes.